Hello YouTube, welcome to A Chapter with Shelby. Today we are going to be talking about what I read in June and what I am excited to read in July. Best life, best life, best life. I'ma keep going. Yeah. If you're new to my channel, welcome, but you're also in really good company because we're all new here, including me. I just started this channel a couple weeks ago, and so if you're watching or if you've been watching in the short amount of time I've been posting videos, thank you so much. It really does make a difference to someone who is starting out like me. I am coming out of a short reading hiatus. Basically, from the whole month of May, I didn't read much of anything. And so the month of June was a little slow going, but I read some really great books, and I am even more excited to talk about the books that I'm going to read in July. I already have them picked out, and I started one actually last night. Today's June 30th. This won't be posted today, obviously, but I finished my last book of June last night and then just went ahead and started the book I'm really looking forward to reading. And so I'm going to share that with you today. Because I will be gone for the week of the Summerween Readathon, I have sort of gotten a jump on reading thrillers and mysteries, just to, kind of catch up, basically starting early because I won't be here during the actual week of the readathon. That normally happens to me. I'm usually gone the week of the actual readathon, and so I'll read my TBR, my Summerween TBR, the week before and a little bit after as well. So for the Summer Readathon, the first book that I started June out with was The Teacher by Frieda McFadden. I love Frieda's books. I've read several of them, and they are just perfect to add to any mystery or thriller or Summerween readathon. The Teacher was full of twists and turns, and right as I thought I had the book figured out or thought I had the plot figured out, there was just more twists, more turns that threw all my theories out the window. The Teacher is a story of twisted secrets and long-awaited revenge, which are my favorite ingredients for any thriller. I rated The Teacher a 3.5 star. It kept me on my toes. I did really enjoy it. And again, once I got to the end of the book, I was like, oh, I actually had no clue what was going on the entire time. If you enjoy psychological thrillers where you can't even trust the characters or the narrator, but you don't actually realize that you can't trust them until later on in the book, The Teacher, and honestly, a lot of Frieda McFadden's books are that way, especially if you've ever read Ward D. That is such a good book that literally freaks you out and then again makes you just feel like what did I just read? And then you get to the end and you're just questioning everything. The second book on my June wrap up is Getting It On with Gargoyles by Hazel Mack. I've talked about this book a lot in my past videos just because I recorded the videos pretty close in succession. Luckily, it is 1 out of 8 books, I think, and so there are plenty of books to read in the series. They are super short but very sweet and a little spicy. Actually, who am I kidding? They're very spicy. If you love monster romances with good plot, a little bit of humor, and lovable, really lovable characters, you will love any book in the Haven Ever After series. I rated this book 5 stars because it was exactly what I needed after a hiatus in May. It's super sweet, very simple, and like I said, the characters are so incredibly lovable. The first book follows Thea and Shepherd, who is a gargoyle living in the monster-filled town of Ever, Massachusetts. That leads me into my third book of the June wrap up, and that is Tangling with Trolls by Hazel Mack, which is the second book in the Haven Ever After series. This book follows Thea's triplet, Wren, and a bridge troll, Oaken. And I rated this book 3 stars, 3.5 stars, because it was a good book, but I didn't like it as much as the first book. I just seemed to enjoy Thea and Shepherd's relationship a little bit more than I did Wren and Oaken's, but I still loved it so much just because I was able to be plunged back into the town of Ever, Massachusetts and still get to experience all of my favorite characters. All right, now we are on to my July TBR. As I said, I will be gone 1 week in July, and so I think 3 books plus 1 audiobook is reasonable for me to complete in the month of July. So we'll start with my audiobook. The audiobook I'm reading is called A Crown of Gilded Thorns by Jennifer Armentrout. It is the third book in the From Blood and Ash series. There's about 5 or 6 books in that series, I believe. I've only listened to the full cast version of From Blood and Ash. Like every book in the series I've read so far has been the full cast version on the audiobook. The full cast version is exactly what it sounds like. Every single character is a different person. There's sounds, there's music, there's background noise. Like it's incredible. And I cannot read or I cannot listen to the regular one now. With that being said, because it's a bigger production, that means that the full cast audio versions come out much, much later. And so I've had to wait a little bit longer for each book. And so the third book, the full cast version of the third book just came out in May, and I bought it at the beginning of June, I believe, and I'm almost done with part 1. It's split into 2 parts, and I'm over 60-70% done with the first part, and so I will finish the second part of the audio in July. I started this series earlier in the year, and I don't think I would have liked it as much had I read it, like physically read it, because it is very high fantasy and there is a lot going on, a lot of names, a lot of places, a lot of things to remember. And so I remember reading a little bit of the book, but then thinking, I think I'm just going to end up reading along with the audio. And I did that for a little bit. And then once I finished the first book, I've just been listening to the audio without doing a read along. I'm really excited to finish the third book, but I know it will be probably a long time until the fourth full cast version comes out. If you love high fantasy and magic systems and protective alphas, but also strong female characters, you will definitely love From Blood and Ash. The second book on my July TBR is called The Orc and the Innkeeper. Like I said, I started reading this last night and I can already tell it is going to be so cute, so spunky, and super fast paced. First of all, the cover is super freaking cute. That's like the biggest reason that I started reading it. It's what drew me to this book. Not only that, but also it goes really, really well with the Haven Ever After series. I seem to be in my monster romance era currently, and I definitely don't plan on leaving that era anytime soon. And so The Orc and the Innkeeper follows suit really, really well. I also love that the more I read monster romances, the more that Goodreads and Kindle start recommending more books like that to me. And so on both of those platforms, I am seeing so many more cutesy small town fantasy. Both books I think are small town monster romances. I think that's like what they title themselves. And so there's more and more of those books being recommended to me, and I am just so freaking here for it. The third book on my July TBR is called The Boyfriend by Frieda McFadden. Of course, I had to add a Frieda book into my July TBR, especially because it is the actual month of the Summerween Readathon. The Goodreads tagline says she's looking for the perfect man and he's looking for the perfect victim. And so I'm like, that is just giving Summerween psychological thriller vibes. And Frieda, like, no one does that better than Frieda McFadden. I'm also considering listening to this on audio because I do really enjoy listening to thrillers on audio because it's kind of like a podcast where like if you listen to murder mystery podcasts, it kind of gives the same vibe. So I'm not sure if I'm going to read this on my Kindle or listen to it on audio. The final book I am planning to read in July is called Legendary by Stephanie Garber. This is the sequel to the book Caraval, which was a 5-star read for me this past year. And so I'm really excited to read the second book. I usually don't like the sequels as much as I do the first book. That doesn't always happen, but normally I really, really enjoy the first book the most out of the series. But I have high hopes for Legendary. It has 4.11 stars on Goodreads, and that's pretty good in my book. Caraval was just such a well-written book that I just have really high hopes for Legendary. I don't think it's just about the story. It's about just like Stephanie Garber, her talent, her writing, like her imagination. And so I trust her to make the sequel just as amazing as the first book. So that is it for my June wrap up and my July TBR. I am super excited about a new month. I cannot believe that June is already gone and we're in July. That's absolutely insane to me, but I'm already feeling Christmas vibes. That's the kind of person I am. I'm very excited for fall as well, but I am just ready for the holidays. And I know that's wishing my summer away, but I know I'm not the only one doing that. I have reading vlogs planned and more book recommendation videos. And I'm just, in general, I'm just sort of experimenting with what videos I like to do. I would love to build up my channel, but I am just a firm what? I'm just a firm believer that whatever you're doing in life or hobbies or things that bring you joy, like those things should be rooted in the fact that you enjoy doing them, not for the pleasure, not for the approval of other people. And so I have found that when I come at a hobby or something I just want to try out, when I come at it from like a heart of just enjoyment, I find that I'm able to have more longevity and have a lot less burnout. And if I do it that way, and so I am just learning what I want to make this channel into. And so I hope you are along for the ride. And I hope you are also just excited to see where this channel goes. If you have any videos you want to see, I would love your recommendations. And if you want more chaotic, cozy, and booky. My microphone went out right at the end of my video, so if you want more chaotic, cozy, and bookish vibes, please subscribe. I am sending you good vibes and good books, and I will see you next Friday.